Yeah, you need to. So what you do, you can't reset it back to single phase because then again, more than the expected one, because this one is now single phase, but it's seeing 2 more. So you plug into the one, so you go to the bus, quick configure. The system configurator can do it as well, it's just a way longer process. So next, we'll check for an update, download and install the update if it's there. So we'll see, set up a VE bus system, which is a new system. Change the settings of an existing system, which we could do if all 3 of these were connected and on, or we're going to say reset a multi to a standalone system. Let's go next. Minus 5. Next. All devices must be switched off. Next. Switch it on. It says all the programming of this is going to be deleted. That's very important to know. So if you want to reset this setting, save the setting file before you do this. A lot of times guys would move a 3-phase system which is small to different parts, maybe on a farm, and install a larger 3-phase system at the house. So then in this case you would use this to reset them all and move them across the farm to different spots. Saying yes, that's how simple it is. So now we're going to see off, on, reset. Okay, reset done. Now someone else can do the rest. And then we can go through 3-phase after that.
Cool. Okay, so switch it off. Now we can plug it from there to here.
No, so you're going to take out this cable. You need to reset this now to a single phase. Reset this. Then you can. Now it's only when they're already configured for 3-phase that you can do multiple system programming. But firmware updates need to be done individually, and setting it up to 3-phase need to be done on site. So you can't go send your client to a site or your installer to a site and say, go install this 3-phase, I'll commission it from the office. 3-phase has to happen in person. So someone's going to sit there with a laptop. You can do it remotely through TeamViewer if one of your guys has a laptop on site and is a little bit clued up. You can log in TeamViewer, run through quick configure or system configurator, set up the 3-phase, and then they can do the rest of the installation, and you can sit at home wherever, do the remote programming of VE configure 3, assistants, all that type of stuff can be done then remotely. But anything to go to 3-phase or to come back from 3-phase to single units needs to be in person. Okay, so whoever is up next can do unit 2.
So it wasn't single, now you set it to a 3-phase.
It wasn't 3.
Okay.
But because we tried to connect to this now, but this is seeing 3 units, it should be 3. But it's only seeing 1, there's no comms between them, so it doesn't want to switch on. Yeah, it needs to be switched off. Yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna, if it's on, it's just going to tell you all the devices need to be switched off, and then you say, oh, it's on, and you switch it off. Okay. You see the multi standard.
No, but I just felt that
You see same error message. Not all or more than the expected devices are found. Setting settings will remove all the assistants. That's how we do it. What is very important to note as well is that if it is in three-phase, we say it's single-phase. If you save this file sometimes with updates to firmware, so say you do this now, you see there is a new firmware update, you update the firmware as well. Sometimes the update of that firmware fixes bugs or changes some functionalities. So if you load the saved file, it might cause glitches running forward. I prefer making note of what is being programmed, deleting everything and doing a firm reprogram instead of loading files. Loading files has cost guys hours in drives and thousands in cost for me to go out to site to go reset, reprogram, done, buy.
Question.
Yeah.
So I noticed on vConfigure when I save a file, then I have to upload it. And sometimes it doesn't save the file in .vcr or something. So when that happens, can I change the file format of the saved file to that specific?
I wouldn't.
Ek het dit oorgedoen, maar like I got into the
because
point.
it's easy to go delete, there's not clean, add ECG or EC, whatever it must be. That might cause other issues. And anything firmware or programming wise causing issues could like break the inverter. I've seen guys do firmware updates, interrupt, power cycle, middle of the firmware update, and the inverter goes, I'm done. You need to replace that part of the inverter. On old inverters, it was a small control board located in front, like the Quattros. On these, there's one PCB that runs everything. So it's a whole main PCB replacement if you break that. Okay. Very important. Okay, who's next?
Yeah, so this is like
Yeah, someone switch it on. Not inside. Put it to the front. Okay, so just. Must be on. Yeah, so now it's on. There you go. So now it'll switch back to inverter on. There you go. So all three of these units are now in single phase. If you connected their comms now, it's going to give you the same error that it did with three phase. Because now it's going to see 3 units where it's only supposed to see 1. Because they all think, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Suddenly you connect comms, they see 3 units, and they stop producing power and they give you an error. What's nice about the toolkit, let me just start this one again. If you do get the error, and you click on the question mark, it gives you what the error is, and in extreme cases it will give you a solution as well, or 3 or 4, depending on how in-depth the error could be. So that's very important. This thing has saved me countless hours on site because I could phone the client, he could tell me this is what runs, and you go next definition, and there are I think around 50 combinations that it will give you the error, what it's for, and how to solve it. Some of the stuff, if it's stuck in like a bootloader, for example, where all the LEDs flash fast, you can forget about it. If it's stuck in that, it's going to be a replacement.
It's just Victron Toolkit then?
Yeah, so it's called Victron Toolkit. It's got the Victron sign with a little spanner and a screwdriver on it.
Would it be I know
we'll ask CJ about it because I'm not sure why it's not picking up. Okay, I've had this on my phone for probably in the last 10 years, and just with each upgrade, it's transferred. So it used to be very nice, it's still very nice, but it used to be that you could physically click on the LEDs and it would turn those on. If you click it again, slow flash, fast flash. Now you have to just go through all the cycles. So it's fast. I mean, if you know what's happening there and you run through the definitions, it'll give it to you really quickly. Okay, so let's see. What is the next one you want to do? You want to do 3-phase or 3 parallel single phase? 3 parallel single phase.
Ja, het zal nog eens helpen om die 3-phase in te gaan.
Dat zal altijd doen. Now we have two options. We have VE-bus quick configure, which is for up to 3 units. In my opinion, from experience, it works the quickest to do it through quick configure if you have 3 or less units, because it's much less hassle. It's literally switching on the devices and it's configured. VE-bus quick configure literally takes 5 minutes. But it's 5 minutes, I can get in the car quicker and go home. Because you have to get your unconfigured devices and pull them to the phases or pull them to the single phase. It's just quicker for me for 3 units to just use quick configure. For the 3 single phase we'll use quick configure, and we do 3 phase we'll do system configurator.
Much simpler if you do it all on the thingy.
Okay. So what do we want to do now? Of those 4 options, we want to set up a new system. Next, here we have all the options. Parallel, split phase, which is very uncommon here, and 3-phase. So we want to do 3 multis parallel. What's important now, before we go further? We have 3 units. What is important for us to carry on?
They must be connected to one another.
Correct. So are they daisy chained? Are you sure? So it doesn't matter where this cable goes in. It could go in on 1, it can go in on 3, it doesn't matter. Because we're going to determine master there, not where it's plugged in. The only place it can't be plugged in is the middle unit, because it's only got 2 ports and it daisy chains through. Okay? So if they are all connected, daisy chain, and the MK3 network cable is plugged in and they are all off, we should be fine. Okay.
Kom eens een T-PC in the middle and snijden.
Yeah, and then, work like ESCOM. T pieces and bullshit. Okay, so now, everything is connected, everything is switched off. 3 multis parallel. Next, this is a warning. So on the older units you had digital multi-controls and Phoenix controls, which is small little extra units that you could plug in and control current limit, on, off, or charger only. Very basic switches. They can't be connected, and they can't be connected to a switch. So it's not network-based programming where you have a router or a switch and all the units are just run to the switch. So here it gives you an example of how it can or can't be. So okay, it's fine, we're not like that. Next, software 5. Okay, very important, all devices switched off. Next, now which one is the master? Let's say it's this one. Master. Okay, so it's founded, so slave. Next one. Okay, someone switch on that last one.
So does that mean that if you were to switch this one on first, this will become the master?
But 3 multis parallel single phase, it really doesn't matter. You could swap the cable between these two from there to here and have this the master. There's no rotation or leading or lagging phase because it's single phase. So it doesn't matter which one is which. And that's how easy it is to go 3 phase. Single phase is 3 parallel. The next would be right leg So let's say VE flash. You come to a site, you don't know which one is the master. So you can flash the LEDs, and the master one would flash its LEDs to show you. Let's see. What is the last one in the line? We're flashing, so you can see which one is where. Okay. Then you would go VE configure multi, and it would automatically open up VE configure 3 for this unit because you right click on it. So I'm going to change one setting and just show you what are the options. So it's reading the country code blocks and you read the assistant. Assistants can't be programmed to all units. So if you program this unit, you can send the basic settings to this device or to all devices. I prefer doing this device, doing each of them separately. It just for me, when I used to install, it was a form of control, making sure that the settings actually pulled through. You can see it's saying there's no assistance because we reset them to standalone, so it wiped everything. It's a default unit now. Say okay. Say we got these are 3s. Okay. Then you go same settings and ask you to modify the call. Let's say just modify this device So there it told us that we selected only the modified settings to all devices. If that's fine with you, you say yes. It also gave you a warning, even though there aren't any assistants on this, it gave you a warning to tell you no assistants will be sent. Okay? So now, let's do assistants. Same settings. This device modified settings because the assistant can't be sent to all units. Okay?
So only the master has to
No. All of them need an assistant. You can't program it to all of them. So now, what's important is it says, it asks you, do you want to send it? Because the unit will switch off if you send the assistant program. So remember, the unit switches off and you're doing this remotely and it's on a bypass, Wi-Fi goes down. Wi-Fi goes down, it corrupts the file that it's sending. What happens when corrupt files are sent? It could break the inverter. Very important to have either your system in bypass or be on site when doing this, if you're unsure. So yes. Also, what happens when one unit in a multi-unit switches off, either 3-phase or single-phase parallel, one loses comms, switches off, all of them do. So you won't run on those two the rest of the house, all of the units switch off because they're programmed to work as a unit. Okay, so it'll take a couple of seconds, it says okay, successfully done. So this will start now, which means those will start. They're flashing because it's a slave configuration. What's important now is if you had this system thought, okay, now we've already sent all the settings and the system is loaded, this will not work. You'll get back to your office and people will phone you in a day or maybe 5 and tell you the system is not working, you installed a piece of whatever with me. Because assistants haven't been then close that, automatically go back to quick configure. So now we're going to check if the programming actually went to all of the units because there was only one setting that we know, AC current limit 10 amps. If that was sent, we were able to see it. We were able to see that there was no assistance. It's going to read the code and the assistant blocks in anyway because it's set up to do it, even though there aren't any assistants. Okay. Currently no assistance, so you know the assistant hasn't been sent or done.
current settings.
Current setting is correct. So that did go through. So now you can real quickly, so add assistance, all assistance, ESS. What's very important now that you'll notice is it's a watered down version of ESS. The master carries the bulk of the programming, and these subsequent units will only have very specific settings that they need to relate to according to the battery. Everything to do with PV inverters is saved on the master, because the master will tell the slaves, listen, bump up to 52 Hertz, come down to 49.9, whatever it needs to do. Okay, let's see. I've decided what type of battery it is, capacity, not changed. And there we go. So it asks nothing about sustained voltage, nothing about restart offset, nothing about PV inverters. Watered down version, just save. Next, same settings. So what I do recommend is if you do it, especially if it's quite a distance away from you, when you've done all this, you save the setting to the master and at least one slave, because you can then open it up and check it in a demo mode, and you save the configuration file, the 3-phase or single-phase parallel configuration file. Because then, if someone calls you, you can log into the save file at your office and refresh about how it was set up. And with that, you can give the guy on site some pointers as to where to start removing faults if there are any, taking into consideration the error message you get. If you're getting an error message, you know how it's been set up, you can tell the guy, oh, it seems that it lost communication with X, Y, or Z. Or it looks like this. Please have a look. Okay. Successful. Close that again. Same thing. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to do this one now. You guys are going to set them back to standard, all three of them. Whoever's not had a chance can do it. And then we can do the 3-phase via system configurator. Cool. So let's switch these off. Someone run that one. These is off. Okay. Whoever is feeding up to it, reset them to standard for me.
I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
You're watching the
Just like
The biggest thing is when we are
I'm still going to carry on.
Are we? Is it off?
Yeah.
Switch on.
It like so. That works. That's my laptop. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, next.
Yeah, that's why I like this quick configure, because you use my own small three units. If it's one unit, you just use speed. But 2 or 3 units, that unit like this. If you start doing 9 units, six consequences of living that's quite a while. I had it set up where it's
It's open.
That one. It's the top one.
Look at the wrong program, so you need to say OK first. Say OK first. Close that. That's wrong. That's now being configured. So you're trying to program a unit that you need to stand on first. Okay.
Just switch it off.
Okay, so all of our units, single standalone units again. Okay. Now we want to do 3-phase.
3-phase in the
Configurator. So with system configurator, you could go up to 12 or 15 units, how many ever are allowed on that system programming. So for 15 kVA quadros, there's a max of 12 units, 180 kVA. You can't go more than that. So for every size that can go multi-phase or parallel or both, there's a size limitation, which is quite important to take into account. It's in all of the documentation from Victron. You'll be able to find it quite quickly. So here again, we need to tell it what we want to do. We don't want to do single phase, we want to do 3-phase. Okay. In the past, let me just quickly stop here. In the past, you could do 3-phase, say on quadros, and have a 3-phase input on AC1 and a single-phase input on AC2 of the master unit. The guys in farms used to use it a lot. They had a 3-phase ESCOM supply for their system, but they had a smaller generator. The generator couldn't handle the whole load of all the chargers and the house. So they had a single-phase generator just to power the charger. It didn't even connect to push power through. So it just activated the charger on the master to charge batteries in case of prolonged periods of bad weather. Most guys in farms had big PV arrays, so it was very rarely used. And because of that, I think they shifted away. You can't do that anymore. I think it was quite bad taking it away because it was nice being able to give the guys the option for a single phase input. But it only worked on AC input 2 and only works in certain quattro situations. Okay. So now we have one AC input, phase, okay. But now there's no units. Why is there no units? Because nothing is daisy chained and the units are off. Daisy chain these for us. Awesome.
One AC input, 2 AC
So on a quattro you'll have more than one AC input because you have shore power and generator or grid. So you need to tell it there we have 2 AC inputs. One will be AC1, one will be AC2. With these, They are only single phase or single AC input units, so they don't have the option of using two AC inputs. It only has the option for one AC input. You can try running it with two AC inputs. It'll probably give you an error later on and tell you need to fix something. Okay. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. I just need to make this quite better. For our COM port. Now you see must be switched on. Okay. Because this one needs to detect them all already daisy chained. You see 3 units? Cool. Let's go. You see they're in single phase. So that's why I set up the single phase here, because all of these units are in single phase. Okay. So now you need to take one unit, put it in.
I have a similar
Okay, just there. So if you want them in a certain order, red, white and blue, you need to check the serial numbers before you start dragging.
Or right-click flash LEDs and see which one it
Okay,
is.
so you can flash them as well. Okay.
It also doesn't have to be red, white, blue, red, white, blue, red, white, blue. It could be red, 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 white, 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 blue, blue, blue.
Okay.
Depending on how you set it up. Because regardless of how the program, your AC wiring will go to your DB, red, white, and blue, and they will be staggered 120 degrees.
Yes.
So, for instance, if I have a job coming up for 6 3 phase, so then all 6 is going to pick up there, and I can just like
Quadros.
multiplus twos.
What did CJ say yesterday? Multiplus II can't be parallel yet. So they can, but not according to Victron. Not yet. They do work. Okay. So you can do 3 phase, you can do parallel 3 phase on them. It's not supported by Victron yet. So you'll make it work, but they won't support you if you have an issue there. Just remember that.
No, it's existing site that already has 3 phase.
Yeah.
So
Multiplus II, you say.
I believe so.
That's also very important.
One of the sales guys working on it, and I asked him what's going on, and he said we're going to add another 3. So I didn't see, I only saw the Victron part and the part that we are going to add another 3.
It's also important if it's all multiplexes, you multiplus is one. You need to add all multiplus into them. Same firmware version, same chipset, so 2643 or whatever. The same thing with the wrong way around. Multiplus II is with multiplus. Yeah, they get used on yachts still a lot. So it's very important to know what you need to add to beforehand. So if no one's done a site visit, I would recommend doing that first, because I have systems on sites running with 19 processors. Which, remember CJ said earlier, it was manufactured before 2014. I have many systems running that are 19 processors that still run. They won't be able to add any units to them because the new units all have 26 processors. So they can't work together. Then it's trying to get a 26 board to fit that unit, getting it from Victron, installing it in there. If it works, because I've had some that work, I have had some that didn't work. If it works, it could fail halfway through as well. I've had that as well. Personally happened to me. So just there are pitfalls doing that. So especially if you're adding to an older system, it's very important to check. But what will happen then is you'll see 6 units there. You'll decide which unit goes with which, and you'll drag the other 3 units afterwards, which will become your slaves. So these first 3 are now masters in 3 phase for each phase, and they will stay like that unless you have 3 more units that you add 1 to each phase, will become slave L1, slave L2, slave L3. So then from here it works the same.
Can you go bigger on a phase? 2 units and then 1 1.
No.
Huh?
2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1. Can't do 2, 1, 1. From here, click there and see okay, cool. right click, do the same thing. Send configuration. So now it's sending the 3-phase. You see why I prefer for 3 units V bus quick configure. This is a lot more steps to get to the same endpoint. Because we had to now find them first, drag them in, send the configuration. Where in the previous one it was on, done, 3-phase. Okay. So now you'll have the same. V configure multi, get to the point, and Google Victron BYD, Victron Freedom 1, get all the set points, fill it in, send settings, save settings. You want to double check it to the other ones. Do the assistance per unit. Again, like I was explaining to Andre earlier, if you have 9 units or 6 units, you have an issue with programming, you need to start all over again, reset all units to standalone, restart, find your error. Can take very long. It is quite a tedious job because you're going to swap between quick configure to reset them to standalone and certain configurator to get them back into 3-phase. So it's a lot of up and down. Okay, so do your research where possible, especially if it's multi-phase and multi-units, like 6 or 9 or 12. It can cost you if you are 400 kilometers from office and you need to like sort stuff out. Again, these days it's not as bad as that. When Yandra and I started in the industry, my closest site was probably 150 kilometers away. That's the closest site I worked at ever, until it became more mainstream, which was only in like 2010. So that is basically it for single and 3-phase. And once you're done, all the settings set, you close your VE configure, it'll be done on all units, and you just close it and this will run as your configured 3-phase system.
But the assistant you still need to load separately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could do that VE configure, AC current, battery, all the other stuff, set points, send it, and do assistant, and so on and so forth with however many units you have. Okay. Any questions? Don't be like Durban, at least one. The guys at Durban had no questions.
Does it matter if you do, like set up the 3-phase first, or if you do the V config for each one first? Does it matter?
Yeah, because as soon as you go from, so you set up all 3 VE configure now, as single-phase units. As soon as you send 3-phase settings, it wipes everything beforehand. So you'll do double work. So first thing is your configuration for either multi single-phase or 3-phase parallel, then VE configure, because it wipes everything. If you struggle, my best advice: reset to standalone, factory reset, and restart. I've had instances where you struggle, where you've gone to a site where someone's having an issue, reprogram the whole day. Once you do a factory reset, there's one little bug or one little thing that just is niggling. There's a space somewhere there shouldn't be a space, for example, whatever, and it doesn't want to take the programming. Reset to factory, just restart.
Factory reset? Sorry, what were you saying?
So on VE configure, yeah, we're done now. We're going to have lunch. So defaults, set all settings to default. That's how easy it is again. If you don't know what something is, let me just do this one thing quickly for you.
But what was that grayed out?
But it's not connected. I'm not connected to anything. So I'm just going to open, this is a demo file. If you don't know what something is, right click, what is this? Gives you explanation.
Each one was supposed to go there. Do all the settings.
Okay.
Settings and then
If there are no questions, let's have lunch.
No, we don't have
charge aside.
No, what I'm asking is, so you were just setting up this as a 3 three-phase. You did both. So first of all, it was 3 inverters in single phase to simulate what 9 kilowatts an hour, which is what this is for. Okay, so then you'd be feeding a single phase DB.
Single phase AC input.
So now you want to feed a 3-phase DB, and you want your phase angle to be, well, I mean, can you not take 3 single phase units and feed 3 single phase buses in
They won't communicate. So yes, theoretically it's possible. So you'll have three phase input, one, red phase 1, white phase 2, blue phase 3. So they'll be staggered 120 degrees from each other. You'll not be able to have any combined loads, so you won't be able to have a 3-phase load, a 400 volt load, and you need 3 servos and touches, because each of them would be needing to be monitored separately.
So that's basically using one inverter to feed one phase of a 3-phase DB.
Yeah.
But that isn't recommended for doing a 3-phase load that way. Wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. Yeah. Because you'd start drawing, and one inverter would see a draw, and one wouldn't, and see only a draw on the line, or something weird like that. It's been tested, it doesn't work.
Okay, so the way to do this 3-phase DB would be to configure that 3-phase, and then you can do 3-phase loads, or you can
do single-phase loads.
It will do each bus.
Because you still have line to neutral 230 volt between each of them. It's just line to line you have 400 volt.
Okay, so what happens if you wanted to put solar power onto that? Should you put an MPPT per...
So that depends on the size of the system. That will go into on Friday, system design. Because there is a kind of balance you try and keep to. So you could do one large MPPT on these 3 single phase units, or 3 kilowatt units. I would do something like a 450-100 or a 450-200 at least. Or you could do 3 smaller ones like 250-60s, 3 250-60s, depending on your design. Because a lot of guys, and we'll touch on that on Friday, a lot of guys say they sold a 5 kilowatt system. What is a 5 kilowatt system? There's no such thing, because you don't know. Do they mean 5 kilowatt peak PV, 5 kilowatt inverter, or 5 kilowatt hour battery? Because they don't necessarily relate to each other in a 5 kilowatt system. Because I take my house, a 5 kilowatt inverter is great. It'll work perfectly for my house. But I can't run a 5 kilowatt hour battery, it's too little. I need to run 15 kilowatt hours. And I need to at least run 3 kilowatts of panels. So then my 5 kilowatt system is only related to my inverter size. That's very important, where these days a lot of guys, and a lot of like Bucky guys, go out and say 5 kilowatt system, 10 kilowatt system, 8 kilowatt system, where when we started out, you had to do like a power analyzer for the house, log the usage, build the system according to that, take into consideration overcast days, because batteries were expensive, big, and the life of the system. If you knocked a lead acid battery like to 50% for a year in half its lifetime, where you'd only reach 5 years of the 10 years instead of the 10 years. So if you did 25 to 30%, you'd reach 10 years, and at 50%, that extra 20% per day in a year would half that life.
Becoming simpler in a way.
Much. Guys have it so easy these days, eh?
So with this 3-phase system, if you wanted to incorporate solar power, so you could use one big MPPT for the whole town.
You could use a 3-phase grid inverter like a Fronius Simo. I would not just do that. I prefer having both AC and DC coupled, because CJ was explaining yesterday as well, and that's what we also use to tell the people. If your inverter dies because of the low battery, your Fronius can't start. Where your MPPT will still be able to produce power and charge the battery up, so your inverter will start and make your Fronius start. So there's a lot of backups to take into account, especially if it's remote sites. If it's a city site, it's fine. You have AC that will connect again.
So you're saying if you want to do solar power to 3-phase DBs, you should incorporate a 3-phase grid-tied inverter.
Or an MPPT, because you could do both.
Or an MPPT per inverter?
Not necessarily, because the MPPT is DC, so it'll go to the battery or flow over the battery and be converted to three-phase here. Yeah.
And so now what happens if you want to supply power to three-phase DV through a load shed? So you need to. Okay, well maybe this is away from Victron now. So what we've got is we've got Tesla power walls. Each Tesla is doing a single phase.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they are like tied in together to be putting out
To be three-phase, yeah.
120 degrees of
Yeah.
power or whatever. We're needing to put solar power onto that system and ideally have it running through a load shedding period.
You need to ask Yandra. I'm not clued up on the power wall. So I know he's worked with some of them, but I have no idea, to be quite honest.
Make it here.
I wouldn't use this one because there's no real use of actually 150 plus 5. So this is it's very limited there. Yeah. If your MPPTs
purchase the MPPT that can do that.
Yes, if your MPPTs can communicate on CAN, you use the CAN, because in the past the CAN could only view, it couldn't program. Now CAN daisy chain can view and program, firmware, everything, which is great. So you could run, like I think you mentioned yesterday, 25 devices of daisy chain to your CAN.
And there's also follow-ups on those also
Yes, if it's on CAN, yeah. If it's on V-Direct, you have 3 ports, and then you can maybe run a V-Direct to USB or a powered hub.
So just to confirm, you run your
VCAN is MPPT. So because there's a VE bus, 2 ports, VE CAN 2 ports, and BMS CAN 2 ports. So the bus will be for 3, 6, 9, how many ever, 4 if it's in single phase, how many ever units you have. And they will be daisy chained, and then from the VE CAN go to VE CAN capable MPPT and daisy chain up. V-Direct is not daisy chain, don't try it. It doesn't extend past 10 meters, don't try it. Cut the t-shirt.
the Bluetooth MPPTs. Can we run them Bluetooth all the time, or do you?
No, I don't think it's efficient. I'm not actually sure. Can the Bluetooth MPPTs talk to the server via Bluetooth? No. Okay.
So it's only programmable.
Gives you the CAN bus.
V-Direct or CAN. With the advances in the CAN, that you can do everything now over the CAN bus, it's much simpler just to buy a UTP cable and daisy chain them.
Only stuff like temperature probes and stuff you can do.
Yeah. Like the Ruby, whichever applicable and approved, I think I want to use.
Still the QVS is in Victron settings with you. So it's unless you say you're going to set it. It's been delivered to Victron. Yeah, so the basically this board is Victron itself is already listed. Yeah. Right, so no cover. Ross. Three phase.
Turn on, yeah, that.
Switch. To the front is 1, to the back is 2.
Yeah.
2 is just the charger.
So while there's AC connector, charges the battery, and also transfers. As soon as the AC dies, it's taken to configure.
Mens kan nie nou nog die inpakpas
Go to the rest of the settings.
Daisy chains, system configurators.
Maar dit is doenbaar. Is not vehicle and reform. Maar dan gaan we just use vehicle.
12
Yeah, I would have taken you directly to that, yeah.
So I think we have to enable the
Ja, dat klopt erin.
Change settings. So it's important we can't go out of the bus configure or system configurator and try and log into just the config. It'll log into one unit and it'll give you a error. Because it needs to it won't allow you. Because remember also now if you load a system and you do it that way, it's going to know master assistant, master assistant, master assistant. They're going to clash because even though that all three need the assistant, only the master needs the main assistant. The subsequent slaves have a watered down version. Okay, so you need to go through your configurators to
Okay, and then remember we said do not charge, do not go off the short. So remember that guys charger, DKC.
So if you minimize, does it lose all the Let's say for argument you want to get the battery voltages for light. You minimize just one, you can't minimize it.
Maar stuur jy net die system vir almal?
Nee, ek kan nie
die assistants bly net op die eerste een.
net op die eerste ene, so jy gaan nou weer moet ingaan
Nou,
in die units.
net op submit.
Maar hy gaan vir jou seker van hy gaan nie weer vir jou vra. So hy stuur eintlik die config files plus die master assistant.
En wat se settings zijn verander?
So die gewone battery settings, grid settings, al die eerste klop settings tot by stuur ek vir al drie.
See now it
Dis net die assistant wat hy nie doen. So dit werk, jy kan ook almal van hulle relays. So jy kan verskillende inverters en relays program, verskillende goede doen, ook onder die assistant. So jy kan nie relays programmeer of iets aan af te sit. Dis skrikkelik baie. Dis bietjie meer in diepte.
For an off-grid system, it is very costly. I recommend setting it but these settings is up to grid connected system. So it's standard. So on some of the batteries, there's a off-grid voltage, and it's out and it's off-grid voltage.
Virtual speed, you said,
Jy behoort te kan, ek het ook nog met dit wanneer jy uitgekom daar op my so jy kan vir hom op 'n signal gee, jy weet op 'n signal gee, dan kan hy net iets doen. Ek het of jou alarm.
Moet jy nog so die battery manually oorstel?
Nee, hy sal dit so. Maar nadat hy die eerste keer gedoen het, sal hy dit onthou.
Ja, maar jy soos jou settings vir jou battery, default settings.
Nee, jy moet obviously gaan kyk presies elke battery met
Jy kan stel by die
ja, so as jy van Google sê maar jy gebruik Victron as jy vir al die settings binne dit soos presies die stel so die kat is voltages of het seker is vrede waar jy dink dis alles wat hy daar is.
Ja.
Ek het fiets maklik so gee vir al daai settings wat jy nou obviously
En dan as jy die master van hulle kan dit weer na daai settings.
ja, dit sal jy kan skaars binne die master. Ja, tegnies so stel jy master op met al die settings wat ek nou nog gewoon is dan sy vir jou file onmiddellik dan. En hoe dan jy dit so werk. As jy nou 'n file IC loads. Dat is baie makliker en gaan nog makliker raak. Dat is even dat er jou sê vir jou IC loads jy dan is in critical loads jy van kan ek change wat dan is nie so settings
Iemand het my ook al gevra en ek dink ek het vir Victron gevra.
So nice. Ja. De bijspansel screen kan je checken, die is zo ik kan mij weet anyway. Een sticker kies op plaats systeem. Ja. Het was zo en van die dynamic candle voltages
Daai luister jy na die batterye, so as jy nou weer batterye
ja, trend alles batterye gebruik daar sit.
Is dit?
Ek het nie eers die hele tyd opgehou nie, maar ek dink dit is dit sover ek weet jy het al 3 gedoen. Ja.
Okay. So is they now 3 phases stuff, eh? Okay, so set it back to single phase or standard unit, and we can do maybe a 3 unit single phase. Whoever is feeling up to it.
Single phase parallel.
Yeah.
As jy nou 'n phase wil verander op die inverter. Ja.
So when you switch on 1, 2, and 3, you want to change the rotation. You set it to standalone, and you go 1, 2, 3, switch it on. So you just change the sequence in which you switch it on. It changes rotation. Sometimes that's simpler than changing the cable in the DV.
So wag, as jy nou daarin gaan, dan swap jy dit daai drag.
Nee,
Yeah, you can if you do it with
You can drag it on.
You can do it with a drag.
Yeah.
But if you do it on reconfigure, you need to set them all back to standard.
Ja, maar jy sit nou mos aan een vir een.
Ja, maar dit klink moeilik, maar as mens daai nou net
Dit is die vinnige manier om hulle te drag.
Want jy gaan altyd uitdraai en unconfigure en dan gaan jy hom terugdraai net
Volgens wat jy wil hê.
3 na 2 toe en dan gaan jy vir hom sê send configuration. Dat hom net weer verander.
Jy weet baie keer ek het al gekry met die assistant.
Byskop.
Are they all on?
Ja, they all on. Ja, ek kom maar gooi. Everyone heard the question. So basically if the phase rotation is different, this will be how you would change it. So if you switch on the system, it obviously doesn't work, then this is how you change the phase rotation.
But I want to do it while a motor is running.
Don't do that.
Forward reverse.
Forward reverse to first.
Yeah, body shift. Let's first check that's FA3 here.
Are we done configuring all that? Because then we can close that software out.
Kan hulle ook flash job.
Yeah.
What's flash?
Wys hoe om dit te doen.
Okay. So that one would become
3.
2, no, 2. That one 3 FA3 that was 2 would become 3. Set configuration.
Iets gedaan, ja.
This is now the important part.
It removes the
It
assistant.
removes the assistant. But if you reset to standalone, it would also remove the assistant.
Yes.
Okay. So now rotation is changed on this.
But now did it only remove the assistant from the two that you changed? All three. So you need to load all three again.
Yes, it'll probably keep your normal settings, but it would delete all the assistants.
Because he doesn't know which one you move where.
So now the master could now be not master anymore. Okay.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So rotation is changed.
Sometimes that initial pop-up.
What I always recommend, if you go to a site visit, before even starting to design the system, measure rotation. Saves minutes or hours on site when you don't know where to look. So you know it's clockwise, install your system clockwise. Now it's anti, install it anti. It's the simplest way. Because then you'll fix it.
Anyone else?
We can take this back to single phase or to standalone units and it's going to single phase parallel. What is going to do, Jack? I know how to do this.
Sê gou, as jy dit in system configure terugvat staan, draai jy hulle fisies net uit.
Jy kan hier so, dan haal hulle maar net 3 fase, maar dit nog steeds ja, hulle gaan nie dan uit. Jy moet hulle nou, soos wat hulle nou doen, terugdruk na alles standalone. Anders te dink, hy is nog steeds in 'n 3-phase stelsel, hy is net nie geconfigured, so hy weet net nie wat sy fase is. So hy weet hy is in 'n 3-phase stelsel, maar hy weet nie wat sy nommer is. As hy hom net uitdraai.
I just tell them guys be on site.
Die maklikste manier om dit te vertel.
Ja, so jy moet dit configure.
Ja, en dan weer dat
Je kan je vijf in onfase zetten en dan 3D.
moet dieselfde inverter wees, so dieselfde chipset. Want hulle moet ons balanseer, is 3 fases.
Maar het is toch nog steeds wat er gemaakt wordt. Als je een unbalance system
So, dit gaan ook die een laai.
ja, als je nog niet probeert.
En nie is baie welkom om te probeer. Want dan kyk jy, hulle chargers is anders, met die een met hulle 3 keer is die ander een.
Ja, want als je nou een fabriek hebt, die nou 3 inverters zodat fases. Als je op één fase zit, dan is het meer dan een ketel of je wil net voor een terugbrengen met een uitgevoerd. Je moet hem rijden, je moet hem oversize.
3 fases is wel beter in jou huis. Split.
Ja, maar dat is onmogelijk om... Die huis zit er komt bij met een microwave.
Nee. Dat is maar een van die nadele van serie standalone units. Die kan unbalanced phases. Dan moet jy gaan vir die groter phases.
I think I have done, yeah.
I think
Toch
under the
But let's consider that in the video as well. Do that physical interaction.
Maybe, please note, maybe
Ek wil net sê ek moet 'n 8 koop en 'n bewys insit.
Maar je klaar achter.
Meneer gaan hier uit.
Ja.
Gaan hier spelletjie wees. Om nou te change. Dus wel 5 kopies speel.
Now, the question, so say you take over a site now, you don't know how they configure it. How would you know which is in the master, whether it's a middle one or...
So you go into change the settings, right click and flash LED.
Hoe lyk dit?
Maar you go into system configurator, you go to your number 1 phase.
Ja, ons dat is 'n spesiale mark. Dit is 'n spesiale mark ons diens wat industrie.
And then the first one, the second phase will be
spesifieke mense wat dit stel. Dit mag net marine
the first one and the third phase.
ons mag in die automotive gedeelte hulle kry ook nie marine, ons kry ook nie selfs die wat is forms nie. van die marinos kan by ons koop as hulle wil, maar hulle verkoop 'n ander produk, jy weet, waarvan ek dit is om te kan wil. So die mark is baie van die tipe produkte wat hulle gebruik. Hulle TX devices wat hulle gebruik. Dan is hulle gebruik.
We're going to go to single-phase
devices wat dat inkoppel. Maar in die boot sit en dan kan dan al daai skerms op sien op die boot se kant.
What's the first thing we need to check on these units?
Die hele ander mark.
Quick configure runs off.
No, it's a lekker maar.
Go into the area of best brand devices expected. That's fine. They won't power anything, they won't break. They'll just say not producing anything because there's more best devices than expected. Now, if they go to now it's going to search, pick them up. So it's going to identify all the inverters. Cool. So now we have an issue. Only one's come up. Why? So we just asked the question and nobody checked. Okay. Yeah. Now you have a skill. Yeah, you can plug them in. So now
they come up load automatically.
No, you need to go comport again. Are they all in? Wait. Okay. Okay, there we get 3. Okay, so they are all now in unconfigured devices. And why are they showing single phase?
Because they're all individual units.
Because they're all already single phase. But we need them to be single phase parallel. They're grayed out because there's no configuration on them and they're unconfigured. So you can start with a process to take them to. So that is now our master, okay? The other ones?
You put them all.
Yeah, you put them all in there because you want them in single phase. Okay. In the system check, it'll show you. As soon as you pull the one, it says there's 2 left. Second one in, 1 left. Third one in, cool. Everything's okay, but the setup has not been sent. So under configure, you're going to go send settings because you want to tell it this is how you need to stay. If you stop here and you shut down, they revert to standalone units. Yeah.
Should you not first based on the single phase sign have to change it to parallel?
No, because single phase automatically is parallel. It's only in quick configure where you choose single phase, 3 phase, because then all units are off. You need to tell it where it needs to be.
And why again do you want us to use the system configurator as opposed to
just to mess with you? Because quick configure is easier and you know it as well.
Yeah,
because you've also used it.
But yeah, what's the difference between the two besides being on and off?
3 units. Okay. Quick configure max 3 units. Configurator up. So you can go now into your L1. So now they're configured, they're blue. And now we can start with the programming for VE configure or assistance, whatever you need to set.
They are there now in sequence of master first.
So if you, I don't think they're actually 1, 2, 3 now. So flash the LEDs on that one first, Jack. So it is, by chance it is the first one.
No, I did it the same way.
Okay. Okay, so you can turn that off again, otherwise it's going to keep flashing LEDs.
Can I go to configure?
No, turn that off first. I've forgotten to do it. Client calls you 2 hours later, 2 days later, nothing's broken, these lights are flashing, and you think it's a bootloader error. because all the lights are flashing and they just forgot to turn off the LEDs. Okay. Any questions so far?
So you could have made this faster by plugging this cable in here?
No, that cable can stay there. Just when you configure it, if you pull that serial number in first, it will become master. So it doesn't really matter. You could make this the master even though it's in the middle. The comms cable is just there to link comms. So it doesn't really matter which one you make master. Unless you do 3-phase, you want a certain rotation.
So he is
Sorry? Yeah, but this, okay, but this is going to the servo at the back, so we don't want this, doesn't exist for this exercise. So yeah, but you can take this out and put it there. It'll make no difference.
Okay, cool. This is the first, this is the last.
Yeah. So anyone want to do the assistant programming themselves or have any questions? Have a different scenario that you want to try? Nothing. Okay.
We can do it together.
Yeah. If there's any questions you guys can ask, anything specific as well? No, it's just
You go to just check. I don't know what these are. You need to change them. We're not going to change them now.
Oh, that's fine because that's
It's just the same.
That's flashing the
very nice.
He's having fun.
Yeah.
That's flashing the unit for every time. Software on the unit.
Do you mean like just updating it all the time?
Remember, we flashed it like 20 times a day, you know?
I don't know, I was shocked. I have no idea. I literally no idea. We could be doing it completely wrong. This is number 2. You can go into the system. Oh, yeah.
So we need logs and this
It's saying go open here.
they must check your basic and so we don't want to be on the because we can test we can actually also see errors. But I can't remember.
It's not so bad errors.
I think it's
easier when we could have used Zoom. We didn't want us to use But wait, we could change this to see the first one's really 15. Yeah. Just to test the next one. I know it's not but it's fine, doesn't You're not sure the laptop's I think just frozen. Nothing's happening. Come on, give it exit. That's pretty cool, eh? Is that your vape? Yeah, it's a pointer. Very sharp. Sharp laptop is
So as soon as you plug in the server, you have to use the these days you can leave it in. I like putting it because it's just
You just need to make sure you install the wine version 5.22.
Oh, that didn't even come up.
Only way to do it is
Yes,